Hi.
Hey, man.
Hello. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Are you guys all okay if we get Lewis to share a little bit about his journey since joining Katana? Are you guys okay if we do that? Okay. Rather than me playing the other testimonial, I actually much prefer having Lewis on. So.
Hi, Testimonial.
Right. Cool, man. So, Lewis, rather than you having to think up anything elaborate, why don't I just ask you a couple of questions? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, of course, mate. Go for it.
Perfect. So, first question: when did you join the program, buddy?
It was about, I think it was September 2018, so about a year and a half ago.
Okay, awesome. And how have you found the program so far?
I found it very interesting. I've learned a lot along the way, and the systems and the tools that I've got access to that you can't find anywhere else, and they've been a what would you call it, a main thing for me, and they've made my life a lot easier finding and sourcing and viewing properties.
Good, man. And I mean, what do you do for life outside of property? What's your background, just so everyone has an understanding of how cool your life is?
I'm a mechanical engineer. I started off in hydraulics, but now I work in Formula One. I work for the McLaren Formula One team. I love it, and I do love my job. But over time, I've slowly noticed that despite how much I love it, I would like to be financially free and be in control of my own destiny. So, yeah, I do well in life. I do all right outside kind of property and whatnot, but that still doesn't stop me wanting to pursue property to the maximum.
And then, what was your property background before we started working together 18 months ago?
Before I started working together, I'd done a couple of properties. I'd had some successes. I'd actually done quite well, and I thought I'd done really well until I really realised I could have done a hell of a lot more. But I've started in property when admittedly, my parents gave me a nice lump sum for one of my birthdays. And rather than blowing it, I thought I'd spend it, and I actually invested in a repossession that was nearby, and it did really well. That opened my eyes to property. I then found a well-known training company that I went with, and credit to them, don't get me wrong, they taught me a lot of theory, but then I felt that they just told me a lot in a classroom and then chucked me out by myself, and I didn't really know how to apply it in the real world. So yep. I took on all the advice, took all that on board, and I kind of followed the processes, but the old school way of having to go out, view all the properties yourself, find all the properties yourself, spending probably 10 minutes per property, of which you probably find 1 in 100 that was suitable. And I've done that for probably about 2 years, maybe 3 years, and in that time I managed to do 2 or 3 deals that worked out, but the amount of effort that I was having to put in for the returns that I was getting just wasn't sustainable. So admittedly, I was looking elsewhere to see what can I do, how property works, but there's got to be a better way to do it. And then I went to your own initial event. And
okay. I mean, what's happened since we started working together? What have you managed to achieve since the last 18 months?
Since we've started working together, I've done 1 flip, I've done 1 buy to let, and I've also sourced on 6 deals. Each of those 6 deals I would have done myself, but I didn't have the capacity to do them, so I'd sourced them on instead. But that's the beauty I found of the automation team. If you can't do a deal, you can source them on, and it ends up paying for itself anyway, I found. But so that's why I sourced a hell of a lot of them on, and I know that I could have done even more in that time, but I've been my only limitation really. So, but still, to have done a total of 8 deals in 18 months, that's an average of 1 every couple of months or so. I mean, that's far more than 2 in 2 years, isn't it? So
good, man. Yeah. And in terms of what's been your biggest value add? What do you think has been the most valuable thing you've taken from the program and everything so far on this journey?
I couldn't say one's more valuable than the other. The 2 most valuable things for me have been the PSS and the automation team. The PSS to find the properties far quicker than before, and the automation team to be able to view the properties for me while I sleep after my night shift, to be honest. So the automation team and the PSS, I'd say, were kind of on par with each other, both the key elements of the program, I think.
Perfect. And for anyone that's kind of sitting on the fence as to whether they think this is for them or not, what would you like to say to them?
If you're truly committed to property and you want to free up your time and you want to progress in property quicker with as little effort to yourself as possible, then go for it. If you fully commit yourself to this, use the tools and use the systems, then you'll make back far more than you ever spent. it's like Richard spoke about earlier about paying for the shovel. You know, the shovel works at a minor cost compared to what you've made. And yeah, it might be worth mentioning, I don't know if it is, that I've made more back that I've spent on my mentorship in my time with Katana already. So it's already paid me back, and it's all profit from here. So
awesome. And in terms of the package, which package did you take? The bottom, the middle, or the top?
Top package, and it was more expensive when I paid.
It was. Well, the thing is, people don't realize, I've said this on these streams before, is we've actually reduced the packages because our overheads have gone down massively. We've taken some stuff out, but our overheads have gone down massively, so we can help other people get financially free without it costing as much. But yeah, it definitely costs you more. But yeah, if you've made your money back,
I still don't regret it. I've still made more than that back. So
yeah, it's very expensive to hire a hotel and rooms and stuff like that. I mean, you need to.
you have no idea about it. It's eye-watering.
Okay,
Talking about.
We can 15 grand. 15 grand just for the hotel. That's it. So
not including all the rest of it, just the room.
Yeah. So no, I mean, I think that's absolutely amazing. And I mean, okay, so Hussein says he can't hear me. Is it you can't hear Lewis or you can't hear us, Hussein? I'll ask you a question because then if you don't answer, I know you can't hear us. So, so Lewis, if you click, you should have where it says questions on the right-hand side.
Yes, questions, yeah.
So if you click on that, then you should see all the questions of everybody. If you scroll right to the bottom, okay, you'll see all the questions, all the responses for the entire day, which is a lot.
Just trying to, the box looks a bit strange. It's not got like a, bear with me. It's not in the chat box. No, it's not the chat box. It's the
questions one, yep.
I can't seem to see, all it says is sound is fine, I think. Anyone else has anything, or is that all there is?
I'll read the questions out for you, mate, to make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, but he'll be able to see the questions now.
Yeah.
No one has.
The box is really small. It looks really awkward.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. We'll read the questions out to you, buddy. Makes it
All
easier. So, is there anything you'd like to add to the people attending this weekend? Anything you think would be useful for them?
Let me see, I've got some notes on my screen with me. Let me have a little look, see if there's anything that I could add from that quickly.
Okay. Cool.
The main thing was me, the fact that I didn't have the time to commit as much as I needed to get where I wanted to be, and the PSS and automation team have honestly massively reduced the amount of time it takes me. That's a key thing for me. Like I said, I know that I've done really well. I find some people have done better, but you always look at other people. However, I know that I could have done even better, but you know, that I've been my own limitation. So over the next year or two, I'll be accelerating even more, as we've discussed.
I love it. Exciting to watch your journey. So the PSS, Tony, is the technology. It's the deal finder. So the PSS is the deal finder. The automation team is the viewings teams, the bookings teams. So that's the team that actually physically does the work for you. So the higher you go up in the levels, if you take a look, you guys should all have the package flyer for the mentorship. We're going to go through it in a minute. Okay. But you'll see there, I think it's in Platinum, you've got the viewing team, and in Diamond, you've got the bookings team. Okay, so you actually have access to the teams depending on what level you're coming in at. The reason we do that is because it's not for everybody. Okay, it's only for those that are going, okay, look, I got the cash, I want to move forward, I want to build this quickly, let's just get this done. Those are the people that need to move into those packages. That's what that's designed for.
Yeah, okay. PSS stands for Property Success System, but as Richard said, we have renamed it, and then it's going to be renamed again. So.
Okay, so guys, is there anything you'd like to ask Lewis? I mean, you've got a prime opportunity to ask another mentee who's doing really cool stuff. I mean, bear in mind, we've got like almost 150 mentees, so we've got a lot of people that have achieved some very brilliant stuff. So we're just trying to give you a selection of people from different backgrounds, different lives, completely different experiences and different starting points, and different positions now, just so you guys can get a bit of a feel for what's possible no matter who you are. Okay, the idea is that you realize that it doesn't matter what you start with, it doesn't matter who you are, all that matters is I actually want to achieve this. So have you guys got any questions for Lewis? Please pop any questions up in the chat box, and I'm sure Lewis will be more than happy to answer anything you guys have. So this is the interesting bit, Lewis. So we ask a question, then we have to sort of fill the space while we know people are typing, or we hope people are typing.
Well, I can talk in the meantime. Another thing that I'd picked up on my notes here was that the systems, since I first joined up, have only got more powerful. I mean, they were a lot more basic when I first joined, and even then they were effective. And I know that as time goes by, they're only getting more powerful, more things are being added to them, and more tools are being added to the mentorship package. So if you think it's good now, it only gets better as time goes by.
You wait till you see the new members.
I know. I can't wait to see that and the new PSS. Need to get going.
I can't wait.
The past couple of months has been frustrating.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So really good question here by Tony. Didn't you have any reservations about fronting up that sum of money?
Not really, no. I mean, I've always been one to. I realise that some people in life might have more reservations than others, but I've always been one that's been willing to invest in myself. Ever from investing myself and committing to £9,000 a year for my degree and everything else. I realise that sometimes you've got to invest in yourself to get where you want to go. And I knew, looking at the systems, going on my commitment, I knew that I could make a success of it, make my money back and more. So really, I didn't think of just the money that I'm handing out. I've seen the kind of opportunity that it was bringing me. That sum of money, which was a lot, a lot of that time in isolation was a hell of a lot. But when I looked at what it was going to bring me, it wasn't even a question really for me.
It's a business mindset. He has. He doesn't think about the cost, but
Correct.
he thinks about the return.
Yeah. So it's something I keep trying to say to you guys throughout the weekend is, it's not the cost of the shovel you need to be thinking about. And it's a really good question, by the way, Tony, because if you're thinking it, other people are
Very
thinking.
Good question. A lot of them.
It's not about the cost of that shovel. What are you going to get for that shovel? And the one thing that you can invest in that nobody can ever take from you is knowledge.
And typically, thinking about cost is the employee's mindset. If you divide into two, employers and employees, who makes more money? Who has got more chance of making money? It's employers, isn't it? Because they have got that view on how you take your opportunities to make things happen.
Spending money to make money, right? Right. Okay. So we've got a really good question here from Kushalun. Lewis, I don't know if you can see the questions.
Yes, I can see the question. I've kind of worked out in the background how to view them now. So
awesome. So the question is for everybody at home. What is special about the Katana mentorship comparing to other companies out there, which there are many of, that you chose to work with?
Right, the two main things for me, the two kind of key subjects that I discussed here really were the PSS system and the the automation team. With the other, there's only one other training company I've been with, so I can already speak with that one. Obviously, no names mentioned, but they taught me a lot of theory. However, when it came to actually finding the properties, viewing the properties, working out refurbs, etc., I had to go on Rightmove, look at all the properties individually manually, work out how much they're going to get in rent, how much they're worth, how much the mortgage will be, do all the figures myself, try and estimate refurb costs, try and find local builders that could then work it out for me. And that was really time consuming.
Yeah.
And then it came to the actual booking and viewing process of the property itself, which I'd have had to do all myself. I'd have had to book all the viewings, I'd have to view it myself, I'd have had to do my own refurb costs while I'm there. And those are the ways that I had to do it with the training company. So I had to find the properties myself, view it all myself, etc. Much more of a manual kind of laborious process. However, with Katana, there's a system I can use that I can basically punch in a few numbers. I can punch in basically the criteria that I desire for properties in the local area. I hit go, and it shows me all the properties in the local area. So it can take me 10 minutes to do what otherwise would have took me literally a full day, if not a full weekend of pulling my hair out trying to work out properties. So it massively reduced the time that I can actually view it itself. That's what was different, the finding the properties. And also when it came to, once I found the properties, booking viewings, having them viewed, I no longer have to book the viewings, actually view the properties myself. I've got someone that can do it for me. So in terms of what's different, it's basically that I'm a lot more hands off than I used to be. Whereas before, I'd have had to work Monday to Friday and spend my whole weekend looking at property, repeat for months solid. Now that I feel that I can kind of live at the weekend and just answer the phone, send a few emails every now and then, while my funnel just flows itself through. So it's about other companies' processes, they work, but they're a lot more manual. Whereas systems from Katana automate a hell of a lot more and save you a lot of time.
Cool.
I think that was a bit of a long answer, but I hope I answered it.
And I bet you received a 3-day mentorship as well.
Yeah. How was your 3-day mentorship?
Can
It
it
was,
done
yeah,
everything in 3 days?
yeah. No, I think it was actually 5 days. I think it was Monday to Friday we did it. It might have changed.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 3-day mentorship. It was basically walk around with me, view a few properties for 3 days, none of which were any good anyway, and then say thank you very much. If you want to do another one, see you soon. And then they were never really in touch with me again.
And you
So
see again.
it was only when I actually went out with them that they were there for me. Once we weren't there face to face, there was just about nothing from them anymore, which is far from different from you guys. Yeah, that's another thing that I need to say while I'm here. Richard and Taro say they're there for you, and they do mean it. I've said at times that I feel bad texting them when this late or whatever, but they've always assured me, never hesitate. We're always there for you if you need it. So they do mean that too. I'm still here from 18 months later, and they're still there for me. So.
Yep, not going anywhere, man. Not going anywhere.
I've got vivid memory of doing a viewing day with you. I mean, but back in the day, the package was a bit different. So, those top packages had a day spending with him. We only had 2 properties because of the hiccups with the estate agents, didn't we?
But we nearly had 2 deals from that. And one of those, I sourced on, didn't I?
Literally, yeah. That was
my first viewing day with Taro, I sourced it on.
Yeah. There's one question which, 2000. Okay. Are there any ongoing costs to maintain use of the system?
For me, no, I think it depends. This might be a better question for Richard because I don't know the ins and outs of all the packages now. So
answer this. So basically, Tony, the answer is after your 12-month mentorship, yes, it's £200 a month, which is nothing. And we specifically do that because that is basically the cost to maintain the system. So the vast majority of the money that comes through when you guys sign up to the mentorship program goes into the actual technology because we're doing ongoing maintenance, repair, and improvements. Also, the majority of the money goes, or most of the money also goes into the training. So we run a lot of live events, a lot of live sessions. We pay coaches. So Charlotte's not free, Hetty's not free, Marie's not free. Fortunately, me and Taro are kind of free because we don't really make much out of this business. But the whole premise is we basically reinvest. And once you come out of your 12-month term, we just wanted a small figure as a way of saying, like, okay, I'm still happy to play my part. Otherwise, it's not really fair on everybody else who's sort of in and having to pay long term, especially for what you guys pay for mentorship, which would be next to nothing in comparison to the value you get from it. But yeah, so that's the answer. That's it. It's £200 a month after 12 months. Okay. Hopefully that answers. Okay. Cool.
Can I just add that I mean, if I was anyone considering that, I'd make it just pay for itself by sourcing at least one deal every 1 or 2 months. You can make the system pay for itself when that case does arise. So that's the way I think of it.
If you buy one buy to let through the system, it's paying for itself
forever.
And that's kind of the logic of it, is that it pays for itself purely by the work that you've done within the 12 months. Then after that, you're sitting there going, well, I'm making £4 a month or £3 a month, £200 a month. I don't mind paying so that I can continue to improve that up to 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 grand a month, whatever it is. So yeah, very cool. Okay, any other questions for Lewis, guys? Okay, do you pay other fees when you successfully invest on a property? Other fees to us? No. We like literally every deal is yours. We don't take any shares. Like we help you, we guide you throughout the whole process. It's your portfolio. We don't take any of that. Okay, there's no other fees or anything like that. If you buy a sourcing deal, you pay a sourcing fee. Okay, which is simple because it means you haven't paid to be able to find the deal. You just pay to get the deal. So either which way you do it like that. But yeah, there's no commissions. We don't take any commissions or anything like that.
No commissions at all.
Like all of the solicitors and brokers and accountants and builders, like it's all third party. It's not ours. We don't take any of that. So it's the idea of the business is to so you get a lot of businesses that they basically bleed the client. The term is bleeding the client, where they basically make the client pay a little bit extra for everything they do, and they essentially bleed the client dry of their money in a longer play. So they'll charge you less for the program, but then they'll bleed you dry in the long term. We're a firm believer in charging you a reasonable amount from the get-go, and that's it. You don't pay more. Like you don't have to pay more. You're good. It's the only way we can do it fairly. Really, I can't think of another way. So
yeah. our power team's fees, not necessarily the cheapest in the market, but you know, I believe you know this saying that if you pay peanut, you get monkeys. If you pay, yeah. So yeah. So you know, professionals in our power team have been tested and used. So we, you know, whenever our students come across any situations or problems, we investigate, and then we have recently actually changed our mortgage broker because the mortgage broker wasn't performing well.
He struggled with the quantity of deals we sent him, which is an ongoing problem, which is why we've actually switched out to a larger brokerage firm. But it's an ongoing challenge because, I mean, we typically do between 5 and 10 deals a month quite comfortably with our mentees, some through sourcing, some through finding themselves, but all the deals will be found through the system. And that puts a big load on brokers and solicitors and accountants. And so we keep having to upgrade who we're working with just to a high level. Okay. Not that you get a bad service, it's just, you know, you get a better service that way. Okay, any other questions for Lewis, by the way? And by the way, Lewis, you've been amazing as always, and it's always a pleasure to watch you grow, buddy. Considering where we started to where we are.
To be here.
It's amazing, man. I mean, anyway, we've discussed this stuff, but I'm fascinated to see your journey continue. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
Awesome, mate. Thank you.
All right, guys. If you can do me a favor, everyone, just say thank you, Lewis. Okay.
How many?
So how many properties do you have is a follow-up question.
At the moment, I've got 2.
Through Katana. So you got 2, and then you also sourced 6, didn't you?
Yes, I've got 2 myself, and I've got a few that I'm going through the sourcing process at the minute. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you. And I should be able to get another couple by the end of the year, looking at the current projections. So.
I have no doubt, man. I have no doubt. You know.
If not more, that's just going on. That's a conservative projection, should we say? So yeah.
Loving it, man. It's been an absolute pleasure as always, dude. Oh, okay. Christine says, how many do you plan for?
How many do I plan for?
Question.
Well, going on current stats to reach my financial, not just my financial freedom figure, but my financial comfort figure, around 10 buy-to-lets. That's just buy-to-lets. There might be some HMOs in there, a couple of flips, but probably about 10 in total. So.
Sweet. Won't take you long, mate. Won't take you long.
Definitely not.
Julia asked, how long have you been with Katana? 18 months, Julia. So since September 18. Okay, very cool. So I'm very happy, mate. Thank you very much for taking the time. Really appreciate it as always.
Thank you to you both, and I look forward to growing together in the future more.
For sure, man. And drop us a message. Let's catch up this week. It's been a little bit too long already.
Yes, mate. Will do. I'll book a call in. All the best, all. Thank you. See you later.
All right. Catch you in a bit, eh?